Tam,
How are you?
good. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Favorite band from the 1980s?
My favorite band from the 1970s, 80s, all eternity, is Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I like Spandau Ballet.
No, you don't.
Remember that song, True? It's a good song.
You're lying,
Hey, couple of, we're me and you are two guys hanging out,
right?
known each other for about 2 years. We
Correct.
actually met right here
Yep. I
on
was standing
Halloween.
there,
Yes.
and you were standing here.
Well, tell me, like, you've been coming to the church for a while. Tell me a little bit about your past church experiences.
Young child, my father's mother, church was an ear-pulling session, and slap and smack, because I didn't know what was going on. Very
Wow.
confusing experience for me. My mother's parents' church, at 16, I was made to stand up in front of the congregation, and the pastor explained that I was the problem with the youth today, that kids like me were how, we were infested by Satan. As an adult, I attended a church. Mhm.
So the pastor of this one church
Mhm.
made you stand up as like a sermon illustration
Right,
of what was wrong with the world.
that's
And
right.
he said, "You are what's wrong with the world."
I am a perfect example. I'm
Wow.
the poster child.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Continue.
and I wasn't really that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right. You
So-
just look like that.
I didn't even really look that bad.
So you had
I
long hair,
friends, yeah, long hair and earrings.
tattoos.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Tattoos
Tattoos are not a big deal, by the way. I mean, just so you know,
Right.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to hell because of my tattoo. It's okay.
you're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, as an adult, I attended a church in Spartanburg, and the two biggest holy rollers there, who usually got on everybody's case about anything remotely fun,
Hmm.
I caught them coming out of the Triangle Stop here in Tryon on a Sunday with 2 cases of beer under each arm. Both of them.
Really?
Had 4 cases, like big, 24
Yes.
big cases of beer.
Yes.
And they wouldn't even look at me because they knew. Now, I don't, if you want a couple of cases of beer, I guess that's fine. Not really my place to judge you for having 2 cases of beer.
Right.
But those people,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because if you were the guy coming out of the Triangle Stop with cases of beer, and they saw you,
if they knew that I ever drank a beer, it would,
right?
yeah,
They would let you know.
Oh, they would let me know
Okay.
for sure.
So basically, what you're saying is,
Uncomfortable as a child,
yes.
made a fool of as a teenager, and shown the ultimate hypocrisy of the church
Okay.
as an adult.
So, what would then lead you to ever step into the doors of another church, based off of those past experiences?
Well, just knowing, having an underlying understanding that there was a God and
Hmm.
a higher being and a purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that combined with my wife, who I trust,
Mm-hmm.
she knows me very well and she knows all my stories. And
Mm-hmm.
she decided to attend Grace Foothills one Sunday, and okay, well, I'll see you when you get home.
Okay.
And she came back and she said, I think that you'll really like, what they're about.
Okay.
I think that you'll really like Scott. I said, I don't know. He seemed like kind of a nerd when we met you for Halloween.
Right.
You were.
Well, I think I was dressed as a nerd for Halloween. That might have been kind of confusing.
It's time to take the costume off.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. So yeah. So your wife comes. She says this might be a church to check out.
Mhm.
You come. What was your first impressions of the church?
Felt welcome.
Okay.
And I felt like none of you people had it together at all.
And you're absolutely right.
Right.
Yes.
Which I'm not looking for a place where everybody claims to have it all put together.
Right. Right.
Right.
Well, good. You found the right place,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So, do you remember the first time me and you hang out, like for a meal
Yeah.
at the Hare and Hound?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in Landrum, what do you remember about that dinner?
Well, I remember first of all thinking how special it was that the pastor wanted to have dinner with me.
Hmm.
But then I found out that you just do that with everybody. And then
That's funny.
you threw up a lot. Yeah.
So my recollection of this evening was we were hanging out, two guys talking, good conversation, and
Mhm.
I vomited 4 times.
Well, it was kind of a back and forth thing of, I would ask a question and you give an answer. Well, really, it was like I would ask a question, you'd say, "Excuse me,"
Right.
and then you'd go barf, and then you come back and be like, "Oh, so where were we?"
Yes.
And then we'd get the answer, and then
Yes.
I'd ask another question.
And just so the folks know, the food there is fine.
Yeah.
It just was me that particular night.
Right.
Wasn't selling good.
Right. I think you
Um,
mentioned that you were incredibly intimidated by me.
I was very intimidated by you.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You still make me want to vomit. No, I don't mean that at all.
Okay.
So, but I do remember in that conversation having, these questions about, or I remember you asked me, do I have to believe in Noah and the ark? Like that story.
Do I have to believe to a T that no, it's not that I don't believe that there was a flood
Right.
and that there was this saving element. It's just that Noah was really old.
Yes.
That was a really big boat,
Yes.
and they didn't have circular saws or nail guns.
Right.
And see, it's the carpenter side of me that says, no, I just have a problem with the boat thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And what did I say back to you?
You said that I'm an idiot.
No.
No, you didn't.
No, I
You
said,
said-
you like as far as the gospel is concerned, you don't necessarily have to start. You don't start there.
Yeah.
You don't say you have to believe in this story
Yeah.
in order to be truly saved.
I think to sum it up, really, you said that I shouldn't get hung up on things that aren't as important as focusing on Christ and who
Right.
Christ is.
Right.
Mhm.
So tell me about from that dinner, and I think that was like June of '09. What was the process that God used to kind of pull you to Himself? Like, how did you come to a place where you thought, okay, I'm actually believing this stuff now?
It wasn't a pulling to him as much as it was crumbling the walls that stood between us.
Okay.
Does that
What
make
is-
sense?
Yeah, explain what that means.
Well, I just always kind of had this underlying feeling or belief in God, and that was never absent in my life. Between that and really just the people in
Right.
Grace Foothills and my experiences there
Right.
helped break down the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you said something to me because you were in the community group that
Mhm.
that I was in as well.
Mhm.
And I remember you said, because the whole community group kind of knew you were trying to sort some things out,
Mhm.
but there was no pressure, right? There was no one really pressured you to go or believe, right? Do you think that we allowed you to process things?
Yeah, I felt completely free to be exactly who I was in
Yeah.
the community group. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is cool, man. It's just, I think that's, we're talking about organic church.
Mhm.
That's what organic church
Right.
it looks like. Just where folks are welcome to kind of come and process faith, and they're not manipulated. They're not
Mhm.
forced, because it really is. It's a work of God. God did the work in you, and then you respond, right? So let me ask you this last question. Do you have everything figured out as far as Christianity goes?
Completely. Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah. I don't know that. You just lead me to any person who says they all have it's all figured out. They just
Yeah.
completely have it, and I'm not a believer.
Right. Yeah.
I just don't even think that it's something that we even need to concern ourselves with completely figuring out.
Right.
There's different, to me, and this might be wrong, but to me, there's different pieces of the puzzle that people really need, and other people might not need those pieces. They might need different pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big book,
It
first
is.
of all,
Yes.
and there's a lot of things in the book that make it even bigger.
Right.
And like, you're a pastor. Could you possibly even begin to understand everything in
Yeah.
the Bible?
Yes.
I mean, how is that?
Yes.
You're not.
I know everything, Tim.
Well, that's why I've chosen to go to another church. No. I mean, obviously, it's just
Yeah,
It's ridiculous
right,
to think that you could have it all figured out.
right. But we would agree that we have the essentials figured out,
Mhm.
right? I mean, you said to me at Side Street Pizza, I now believe that Jesus is my Savior.
Yes.
Would you? I mean, to me, that's organic faith. That's organic church. And there are more things, you know, that we can explore and figure out together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're here.
Right.
So,
Sounds good.
well, bro, thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.
All right.